Hello everybody and welcome back to SFF180. It is Monday, March the 25th, and time once again for the mailbag. I hope you guys have had a great week and a great weekend. Mine's been pretty decent, not too bad. Went into Austin, saw a little live music on Saturday. That was a nice little getaway. But we have a really good stack of books this week, so as I don't have a whole heck of a lot in the way of important announcements, let's get into them. And we're going to start out with this one, little white envelope, which is probably a Tor title. And it looks like we're starting off with a bit of a bang. This is a book called A Memory Called Empire. The author is Arkady Martin, which is the pseudonym of a Byzantine historian, Dr. Anna Linden Weller. Interesting. Writes about border politics, rhetoric, propaganda, etc., etc. Okay, fascinating. Anyway, this one comes out tomorrow, March the 26th. And it says it's a compelling examination of colonialism and cultural appropriation and overflows with rich political intrigue and deliciously underhanded characters. Okay. Ambassador Mahit Zamare is far from home. Her predecessor has been murdered. Her one connection to home has gone silent. Now, Mahit must discover who is behind the murder, rescue herself, and save her home from peril, all while navigating an alien culture that is all too seductive, engaging in intrigues of her own, and hiding a deadly technological secret, one that might spell the end of her home and her way of life, or rescue it from annihilation. Okay, so advanced reviews on this one have been extremely strong. So I am looking forward to getting into it pretty soon here. So, A Memory Called Empire, out tomorrow from Tor Books. And moving on, oh, this one says Macmillan. Interesting. All right, maybe it's an arc of some kind. Okay, well, this is really super exciting. One that I was not expecting to see quite this early. But this is the arc for The Redemption of Time. It's written by Bao Shu, translated by Ken Liu, and it is a new novel set in the same universe as the Three Body Problem trilogy by Liu Zhen. It's fascinating, fascinating. Okay, this one comes out on July the 16th in hardcover from Tor, and yeah, that's really all it kind of says about it plot-wise. Let's see. Yeah, that's interesting cell sheet, just bios and you know, of everybody. Okay, and a release date. Well, let's see what else is here in terms of. Oh, here's a little letter from Ken Liu, translator. If you're a fan of Liu Zhen's The Three Body Problem and its two sequels, then you're in for a treat. There's a unique pleasure that comes from seeing one author's beloved fictional universe refracted through another mind, different from, yet sympathetic to, the mind of the original creator. Written by Bao Shu, one of China's most popular SF writers, as well as Liu Zhen's friend, The Redemption of Time is a paraquel, okay, to the Three Body Saga. It takes place within the same eternity-spanning time frame and features some of the same characters, but it also features a distinct blend of Liu Zhen's grand vision with Bao Shu's unique voice and philosophical interest in the nature of time. From this book, you'll discover shocking yet plausible answers to questions left open at the end of Death's End. And I'm not going to voice what those questions are, because they could be spoilery. By turns serious and irreverent, sentimental and philosophical, The Redemption of Time is an exciting, mind-bending adventure that is simultaneously true to the trilogy it honors and also completely different. All right, well, that sounds really terrific. I need to go ahead and get my reviews up for the second and third of the Three Body novels. Those are well and truly a big shame in terms of gaps in my reviewing. I did, like a lot of readers, have difficulty with the English translation of the second book, The Dark Forest. I don't know if it was a matter of the translation or, you know, because that is a very dense novel in which not a lot seems to happen for the longest time. But I'm going to give it another shot and then, you know, tackle this one because I am really excited. But The Redemption of Time, available July 16th from Tor, so that gives me plenty of lead time. Okay, well, things are going really well today, I have to say. New Random Penguin title. And for those of you who are Terry Brooks fans, as you know, he's bringing the long-running Shannara saga to a close. And this apparently, The Fall of Shannara is the final story arc. And this is the third book in it, The Black Elf Stone and the Scar Invasion. And so is it a trilogy or is it 4 books? I don't know. Anyway, they're not indicating that this is the last one. So this is either the next to last or very last Shannara novel that he'll ever do, apparently. and it's called The Steel Assassin, and it will be out June the 28th from Del Rey Books. Okay, next up, this is one that looks kind of interesting. This is a little paperback from Titan Books, and it's called Zero Bomb. The author is M.T. Hill, I guess a debut novel. But it goes like this. The near future. Following the death of his daughter Martha, Remy flees to the north of England for London. Here he tries to rebuild his life as a cycle courier, delivering subversive documents under the nose of an all-seeing state. When a driverless car attempts to run him over, Remy soon discovers that his old life will not let him move on so easily. Someone is leaving coded messages for Remy across the city, and they seem to suggest that Martha is not dead at all. Unsure what to believe and increasingly unable to trust his memory, Remy is slowly drawn into the web of a dangerous radical whose 70s sci-fi novel is now a manifesto for direct action against automation, technology, and England itself. Wow. The deal? Remy can see Martha again if he joins the cause. All right then. Well, this sounds like very much an of the times, a bit, and possibly a hint of satire here and there. But it looks pretty exciting. See, it looks fresh, which is what I always find exciting. But Zero Bomb by M.T. Hill, and it looks like it is, okay, it looks like it's out now from Titan Books. And coming up next, we have a package from HarperCollins. And this one is the finished copy of The Deepest Blue, the new novel by Sarah Beth Durst. And it is a standalone novel apparently set in her the same universe as her Renthia trilogy that she just finished, and this one came out on the 19th, so it's out now. Life is precious and precarious on the islands of Baleen. Besieged by a capricious ocean full of malicious spirits, the people of the island seek joy where they can. Mayara, one of the island's fearless oyster divers, has found happiness and love, but on the day of her wedding to the artist Kello, a spirit-driven storm hits the island with deadly force. To save her loved ones, Mayara reveals a dangerous secret. She has the power to control the spirits. When the storm ends, she's taken into custody by the Queen's soldiers and imprisoned with other women like her. They vary in age and social status, but to many they are heroes who will aid the country or witches that will sacrifice themselves trying. No matter who they are, the women are sent to a terrifying place, an island filled with bloodthirsty nature spirits and left without food, water, shelter, or any tools except their own instincts and magic. Whoever survives the island of testing will be declared heirs to the Queen. But no matter if she wins or loses, Mayara knows that the life she dreamed of is gone. Ouch, okay, well, I mean, it does sound like there's a little bit of Hunger Games in that. But yeah, it still could be pretty action-packed. The Deepest Blue is out now from Harper Voyager. And next up, this one, oh, this looks like it comes from Small Beer Press. Okay. All right, this is very, very nice. This is a story collection from Sarah Pinsker, who has been doing some wonderful SFF fiction, short fiction, mainly. Her first novel is coming out later this year. This is a book called Sooner or Later, Everything Falls into the Sea. And it came out March 19th. Okay, so it is available now. And let's see, in this debut collection, you will meet runaways, fiddle-playing astronauts, a touring band, underemployed Americans, retired time travelers, and doppelgangers. Explore music, memory, technology, love, and mystery in settings that range from generation ships to cruise ships to road trips, from murder houses to tree houses, in stories that are weird, wired, and hopeful. Pinsker's stories are often described as hauntingly beautiful, but Pinsker also knows that the heart wants what the heart wants, and that what the heart wants is not always right or easy. Well, ain't that the truth? Okay, so let's have a quick look at this. Okay, Wind Will Rove is definitely in this. And then there were N-1, that's in here as well. Other stories like A Stretch of Highway 2 Lanes Wide, And We Were Left Darkling, Enjoy Knowing the Abyss Behind, No Lonely Seafarer, Our Lady of the Open Road. Okay, that was also, I think, an award nominee. All right, well, this is going to be some quality short fiction. And Sarah Pinsker's Sooner or Later, Everything Falls into the Sea. More Random Penguin. Well, this is certainly exciting to have. This is the finished copy in hardcover of Holy Sister by Mark Lawrence. I think wrapping up the Books of the Ancestor trilogy. Now, Red Sister, Grey Sister, which is a BookTube SFF Award finalist this year in the fantasy category, and now the third one is out. And the whole batch are about to be reviewed by me, back to back, right here on the channel, in time for the release of this one, which I think is the first week of April. Something like April the 6th or something, or whatever that first Tuesday in April is. I think that is when this hits. This doesn't have a sell sheet, so I'm sort of going by loose memory in terms of the day. It's coming out really soon. But anyway, Holy Sister from Mark Lawrence is finally here. All right, let's keep going with another Random Penguin. We're on a roll. All right, now here is something that I haven't heard a whole lot about, so that's good. This is coming out from Berkeley on July the 9th. And it's a book called Salvation Day. The author is Callie Wallace. And what it says is, in her electrifying new novel, Salvation Day, Callie Wallace masterfully blends mystery, science fiction, and horror into a claustrophobic adventure of high-stakes survival. Over a 24-hour period, a doomsday cult takes a group of graduate students hostage on an abandoned spaceship, where a terrifying threat lies in wait. Zahara knew every detail of the plan. House of Wisdom had been abandoned by the government of Earth a decade earlier, when a deadly virus broke out and killed everyone on board in a matter of hours. Now it could belong to her people. All they needed to do was kidnap Jaswinder Bhattacharya, the sole survivor of a tragedy and the last person whose genetic signature would allow entry into the spaceship. But her crew didn't know what waited for them on the ship, a threat to all of humanity that lay sleeping alongside the orbiting dead. Then they woke it up. In Salvation Day, Wallace explores how the traumas from the past inform the choices we make in the present, as well as the responsibility society has towards helping its most marginalized members. It's a thrilling adventure, but at its core is a hopeful novel about people coming together to create a better world. And that's great, but also hopefully it's full of like lots of spooky stuff and gory killings. But this comes out it said July the 9th. From Berkeley. So yeah, I'm definitely intrigued. How about you guys? Let me know in the comments. And this next one also from Random Penguin. This is one that was on my anticipated SF list. That video. Go check that out if you haven't. But this is called If Then. It's a debut novel by Kate Hope Day. And it's one of those kind of quasi-literary SF novels that's, kind of pushing itself towards the Station 11 fans, that kind of thing. Well, this one goes like this. In the quiet haven of Clearing, Oregon, 4 neighbors find their lives upended when they begin to see themselves in parallel realities. Ginny, a devoted surgeon whose work often takes precedence over her family, has a baffling vision of a beautiful co-worker in Jenny's own bed and begins to doubt the solidity of her marriage. Jenny's husband, Mark, a wildlife scientist, sees a vision that suggests impending devastation and grows increasingly paranoid, threatening the safety of his wife and son. Samara, a young woman desperately mourning the recent death of her mother and questioning why her father seems to be coping with such ease, witnesses an apparition of her mother healthy and vibrant, and wonders about the secrets her parents may have kept from her. Cass, a brilliant scholar struggling with the demands of new motherhood, catches a glimpse of herself pregnant again, just as she's on the brink of returning to the project that could define her career. At first, the visions are relatively benign, but they grow increasingly disturbing, and in some cases frightening. When a natural disaster threatens Clearing, it becomes obvious that the visions were not what they first seemed, and that the town will never be the same. Wow. Okay. So If Then came out, came out about a week ago. So it is available now by Kate Hope Day. Yeah, this just still sounds super intriguing to me. Let me know in the comments. And next we have what feels like a nice big fat book from Random Penguin. So, oh, okay, well this is one that's going to excite a lot of people. I think this book actually was delayed from last year. But it's available now, or at least it will be available on June the 11th. This is called A Sword Named Truth. It's by Sherwood Smith. And it is the launch, I believe, of a new series, a new trilogy that is set in the same universe as her Inda series. And those were surprisingly popular books on BookTube, by the way. So, new in the Inda universe. Let's have a look. Long dormant magical forces are moving once again in Sartorius Delis. Agents of Norsunder, a mysterious bastion of incredible dark power, have reappeared in the world, amassing resources and sowing instability. But with numerous nations led by young rulers brought too early to their thrones, the world is hardly ready to defend itself. And here we get to the bottom. These leaders soon realize that any significant victory against Norsunder will require an alliance between their nations. Yet good intentions may fracture in the face of personal grudges, secrets, and inexperience. As the Norsundrian attacks become bolder, the members of this tenuous alliance must find ways to trust one another and bind themselves together, lest they fail to defend against a host that has crushed entire worlds. Okay, so very, very politically complex fantasy novel here, sounds like. And I'm guessing, based on the description, that you would probably do well to read the end of books before jumping into this one. Sometimes, you know, writers are kind. I mean, I don't know, right? But I'm assuming, just based on it, that it helps to know something of the lore of this universe before going into this. It kind of assumes that you have at least read Enda and know something of how it all works. But A Sword Named Truth will be out, like I said, June the 11th from Daw Books. And we're getting down to the very bottom here, second to last package. This one comes in from a company called Grove Press, and it is one that has been on my anticipated fantasy list for this year, as well as several others that I've gotten today. So this has been an exciting week. But this is called The Bird King, and it's the new novel by G. Willow Wilson. You know, her first book came out a few years ago, Alif the Unseen, and then she's done quite a lot of work in comics, apparently. And this is now her second actual book. And okay, it goes, all right, this is set in 1491 during the reign of the last Sultan in the Iberian Peninsula. The Bird King tells the story of Fatima, a concubine in the royal court of the Sultan of Granada, and her dearest friend Hassan, the palace mapmaker. Hassan has a secret. He can make maps of places he's never seen, and bend the shape of reality with his pen and paper. His gift has proven useful to the Sultan's armies in wartime, as well as entertained a bored Fatima, who has never stepped foot outside the palace walls. When a party representing the newly formed Spanish monarchy arrives to negotiate the terms of the Sultan's surrender, Fatima is tasked with welcoming their women. She befriends one of the women, little realizing that she represents the Inquisition and will see Hassan's gift as sorcery, and therefore a threat to Christian rule. Uh-oh. In order to escape the Inquisition, Fatima and Hassan embark on an epic voyage across Spain in search of refuge on a mysterious, possibly mythic island. With everything on the line, the Bird King asks us to consider what love is and the price of freedom, at a time when the West and the Muslim world were not yet separate. Okay, interesting. A triumphant tour de force with shadings of Philip Pullman, Neil Gaiman, Madeleine L'Engle, C.S. Lewis. All right, well, fascinating. Okay. The Bird King, and it looks like it's available now from Grove Press. Okay, everybody, last package, and this one is a rather large but not terribly, you know, heavy box from Harper Voyager, so I'm curious. Let's see what they sent me. All right, well, what they have sent me are the finished copies of Markswoman and its sequel, Mahimata. These are by Rati Mehrotra. Markswoman actually came out last year. I've had it all that time, both the ARC, both the finished copy, and now the sequel, Mahimata, which I've also gotten the ARC for. And now, Harper Voyager, they tend to be very thorough about this kind of thing. They want to make sure that their reviewers get everything, so they're like, oh, well, let's just send you the whole series. So I appreciate that. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten review copies of something, and I'm like, oh, it's book 5 of a thing, and I haven't gotten the first 4, so I can't very well read it. But, and this is a duology, which I am happy to see seems to be a thing that is increasing in popularity in SFF publishing. Quite often, you know, I mean, let alone multi-book series, but even trilogies can very often feel padded. Even trilogies that are really, really good. Sometimes, you know, like, especially in the second book, you know, they might get these moments where you're just like, yeah, okay, this can be sort of trimmed down a bit. So I like the idea of just, you know, 2 books. You can get a good, very complex story told, and yet not drag it out for eternity. So I'm actually quite eager to get into these. The premise here is that the character, Markswoman, she belongs to this elite group of warriors with a magical blade. And so it basically describes her adventures from there. And so, yeah, I'm quite, yeah, I'd very much like now to go ahead and get caught up and read the whole duology now that it's out. But from Harper Voyager, available now, apparently. Mahimata, I think, came out the very beginning of this month, like March the 8th or something. So they are both available. And that is it for this week. I don't know, what do you think, guys? I think this was one hell of a mailbag. You know the drill, light up those comments. Let me know which of these looks most interesting and exciting to you, and which you would like to see me prioritize for review. Otherwise, please like, share, and sub, and you can also support the channel at my TeePublic store and at my Patreon, where recruits into Wink's Army get little perks like getting to see some of these videos early. I really want to thank them, as always, for their added support. It really means a lot. It's very helpful. I want to thank the rest of you guys for being the very best viewers in all of BookTube, and until I see all of you next time, happy reading.